we are back with another Shakespeare play because I just finished reading Measure for Measure. Now, I want to do a little plot summary for you guys, but I will warn you ahead of time. The book does get a little bit racy. It deals with themes of sex, the law, and society. So you know if a book deals with any of those three themes, it's going to be a banger. So, the book starts off with the Duke of a city. I can't remember the name of the city offhand. But anyways, this Duke, he wants a vacation, so he's like, hey, I'm gonna peace out, but my second in command, the deputy Angelo, he'll handle things. It'll be good. See ya. He takes off. But this new Angelo guy, he's a bit more of a stickler. And so he has this great quote where he says, we do not want to make a scarecrow of the law, right? He wants the law to be actionable and to follow through on the things that it promises. And so the very first thing that he institutes, no fornication. If you bang before marriage, you die. And unfortunately, our friend here, Claudio, had just knocked up his fiancée. And he just couldn't wait, the last few months. Just had to, get in there early. So unfortunately, for him, death, instant death. Less than 24 hours. Now, Claudio has a sister. Claudio's sister is named Isabella, and she's about to become a nun. And so, she visits Claudio in jail, and he's like, please, go plead for my life from the deputy. Maybe flirt with him a little bit. Do what you gotta do. I'm gonna die here, alright? Come on. And so, she goes, and she's like, come on, please, this is all a bit sudden, like, you gotta let him live. And the Duke is like, nope. And she's like, dang, alright, well, let me come back tomorrow. And so she comes back the next day, and he's basically just like, you talk nice, but it's not going to happen. And then all of a sudden, he's like, hypothetically speaking, if you could give up your chastity to save your brother, would you do it? Hypothetically. And she's like, sure. And he's like, okay, not hypothetical. Sleep with me to save your brother's life. And she's like, no. So she goes to the prison to tell Claudio, hey, get ready to die. And he's like, come on. Like, it's so easy for you. And she's like, are you kidding me? I will pray like 1,000 prayers for your death. She's just kind of savage. And so she leaves, but the Duke is actually disguised as a friar, and he overhears this conversation. So he goes over to Isabella, and he's like, don't worry, I got the master plan. Turns out, Deputy Angelo, he has this fiancée that he was engaged to. Her dad lost the dowry in a shipwreck, and then he just abandoned her, which is kind of tough. Her name's Mariana. So anyways, what we'll do is we'll put a cloak or a veil over her face, send her in there at like midnight, it's kind of dark. Angelo, he'll never tell the difference, right? So she's like, that is genius. So she goes to Angelo, she's like, fine, I'll do it. I've been convinced. See you at midnight. And then they dress up Mariana, send her in there. Things happen, alright? The deed is done. Need I say more? Anyways, next morning comes, Angelo wakes up, but the Mariana slipped out of there, maybe like, 1, 2 a.m. But actually, let's be honest, probably like 12:05 or something like that. I don't know, she slips out, he wakes up, he's like, let's go boys. Probably tells all his like, buddies about it, and then he's like, alright, send me Claudio's head. He didn't follow up on his promise at all. And so, the friar, trying to keep Claudio alive, he's like, okay, pause. Let's send him the head of a pirate instead. He kind of looks like Claudio, and the idea is the same as Mariana and Isabella, right? He's not going to know the difference. So, I don't know, maybe he was like a little bit blind or something, like needed glasses, but it was like too long ago. He didn't have any or something. I don't know what the deal was, but he wasn't very good at telling the difference. And so, they sent him his head, he's like, ha, got him. And so, then the Duke comes back. And instantly, Isabella's like, like, hear me. I've been wronged. She accuses Angelo in front of everybody, but Angelo has like this spotless reputation. So he's like, huh? Like, that's weird. Why are you saying this about me? Didn't happen. And everyone's like, that's true. And then Mariana comes out too, and she's testifying the same thing. And then all of a sudden the Duke switches, and he's like, yeah, guess what? I was the friar the whole time. I knew everything that happened. Angelo, you gotta go. You're gonna die. And that's the idea of measure for measure. It's sort of this Old Testament idea of like an eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth kind of morality. So because you killed Claudio for that sin, you just committed that sin, guess what? You gotta go. Death. And then Mariana shows up, she's like, hey, I love this guy. He's an absolute scumbag, but I love him. He's my husband for life. And the Duke is like a generous guy. He's like, sure, why not? And then he makes them marry. And Angelo's like, are you serious? So he spares his life, fortunately, but he forces him to marry. Then he allows Claudio to marry his fiancée. Amazing. And the play ends by him asking out Isabella. And then there's no response. It just ends. It's very ambiguous. But yeah, this is a 4 out of 5 star read for me. It was very enjoyable. Lots of sex jokes. So if you like sex jokes, this play is definitely for you. But of course, they aren't crude sex jokes. They are very well written, sort of hidden, nuanced. You know, they're intellectual sex jokes. You wouldn't get it, okay? You have to be smart like me. You have to be smart in order to get the sex joke. Okay, anyways, Measure for Measure. It's a good play. Read it. Or death. Okay, bye.